This is 1713 North Jordan Avenue. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house that it's a little bit bigger than it looks from the outside here. It kind of looks like a little shack, especially with the windows boarded up. But I'm going to show you all the way through here. First, I want to show you what the neighborhood looks like. We have a house over here that's seen some recent remodeling. One down there that's gotten a good paint job. It's a relatively quiet street. I've been over here at multiple times of the day and never had any problems besides the dog next door that likes to talk to me. So you'll hear him. As we're looking this way, coming around here to the southwest, sorry about my finger there, in that direction is the OU Medical Center, and there's a VA hospital over there as well. And so we've had some development in the city in this area south of here between Northwest 10th Street and this is Northwest 16th right there. So that redevelopment is starting to come this way. And so like this house over here was built, I mean, it's a brick house, so it was built probably 30 or 40 years after the rest of the ones in the neighborhood. I forgot to mention that there's a daycare center right over here. This street, Northwest 16th Street, is kind of a medium traffic thoroughfare. You've got Northwest 10th is a main street, Northwest 23rd to the north is a main street, and 16th is about halfway between them. So that's the kind of traffic you get there. So I'm going to go up to the porch here, and this house does not have electricity and it's boarded up. So I'm going to do my best to show you. I've taken a video tour with somebody else live, so I've kind of gotten a feel for how to do this. And if there's any questions you have, feel free to email me or text me or give me a call. I'll give those numbers and information at the end of the video. This is the living room. That's the first room you see as you come into the house. The one thing about this house is it has great use of space. There's only one hallway in the whole house. So as we go back through here, that's the kitchen. Again, sorry for the finger. That is the bathroom. And so what I'm going to show you in this room is the things that have been demoed, and then there's a couple of things, there's some damage that I want to make sure I point out. First of all, the one thing I was surprised about is the condition of the inside of the roof decking. That usually when you see a house this old, you see a lot more water staining than this one has. There's dirt stains up in there, but not a lot of water stains. And so that's a good sign. There's some really good sturdy roof structure here that could be reinforced. They used 2x4s instead of 2x6s back in those days. If you wanted to reinforce it, you could. I don't see any sign that needs to be done. I mean, you can push up on the bar here, nothing's happening. It's not giving in any way, shape, or form that I can feel. I'm short, so maybe that's contributing to it. The good thing about this is there is roof access. So if you wanted to put central heat and air in this house, it could be done. It does not currently have that. This wall heater in this room is the only place where I've seen some evidence of water damage over time, and you can see it in that spot right there, that perhaps some water got in up here. You can see where it probably did, and then came down this pipe, this vent, and then got some damage there, and possibly over time to the walls here. This may be just demolition though. I'm not sure if that came off or somebody pulled it off when they took the front of this off. I would assume that anything you see is not working. I would not assume that this heater is working or the other heater or any of the plumbing. It had copper plumbing at one point, and it appears that all of that has been vandalized and stolen. So just to keep that in mind. So we're gonna head into the kitchen area, and this is where it starts to get a little too dark to see. I'm gonna do my best to show you. Here is the flooring. It's just the press on individual tiles as they're starting to come up. They're right here. You can see that right, I don't know if you can see my flashlight. Yeah, right along this square here is the size of these squares. I would assume that all this flooring needs to be redone. This window is missing some glass. You can see here there's some signs of water that has gotten in on this side. This was plaster wall that they put, last time they redid the wall here, they put drywall tape along here. You can actually see an old plaster crack back there. So there's going to need to be some repair to this wall most likely. You can see up here. So I'm assuming this is water that had gotten in. There's a lot of paint peeling that it's just paint peeling over time. Be careful with it if you're doing remodeling. It's a high likelihood that there's some lead paint, possibly even exposed. The cabinetry in this room is really original to the house, so it's old. And you can see there's cabinets there, and then these cabinets here are pretty much original. In the sink area, there's no sink and no plumbing and no drain for a sink. So all of that's gonna have to be redone. It's actually probably back underneath here is where the pipes went at one point, because it's hard to see even where the drain pipes went. Over here was where the refrigerator originally was with this cabinetry. You can see that. And so that's why there's an outlet in the middle of the wall. Somebody had at some point installed, and it looks like a long time ago, a dryer hookup here, and it could be a stackable unit that would go here. You could plug in the dryer here and the washer there, and there's your drain tube for the washer. So I guess you could put a side by side here, but I think it'd be much better use of space for a stackable. The water plumbing pipes, what's left of them is here. This is where the hot water tank was, and there's the gas input for the hot water tank. So this used to be a wall of some sort right in this area here. And then you can see where the closet door is here. Okay, so when that was abandoned as this place, the refrigerator, this looks like it's where the refrigerator goes now. And there's still plenty of room if you come out to right in that spot of the floor there where the tile is missing. That's about the width of the refrigerator, maybe another square over. So even if you put a very large refrigerator in and left room to get to that closet, you could still get through this area pretty easily. So for a small house, it does have access. There is hardwood back here in the bedroom area, and this is where we see the most damage in 3 places. Before I get to that though, I wanted to show you, this is the other heater for this half of the house. Again, I would assume this doesn't work and needs to be replaced if you don't do central heat and air. So this is what would be considered the master. And there's back here, and we'll go walk back there so you can see, that line back there is not water damage, it's a shadow. But this area over here is very much water damage, and I'm going to show you where that all comes from. I'm going to start with that actually. So if you look up here, it looks like the roof leaked. I almost stepped through a hole. It looks like the roof leaked. Sorry about that, my finger's in the way again. Pretty seriously along here, and so the decking from here probably over to about halfway up, I would just say probably all the way up to the hip, would need to be replaced. And so these walls probably need to be replaced as well. You can see that there's been leakage all around and caused water damage and to the paint and probably the wall beneath it all the way around. And this is where you can see it on the floor. That's right there is really soft, even though it's not wet anymore. That's where I stepped and got my finger in the way because I almost stepped through it. So that is that area, and you can see the seepage from the water comes from all the way here, all the way around here, and then all the way even into the closet area. This area here, this second to highest peak from the wall is about halfway through the room. So this one's a little more than halfway. And I'm going to take you back in this corner just so you can see what I'm saying, that it's not further water damage. Actually, now that I say that, it looks like there has been some along here. It's not as pronounced as the other one, and it's probably, I don't see any leakage. I'm going to get closer up here so you can see around the brightness of the window. I don't see any evidence of water damage along here, but I do see it on the floor. So maybe it came through the window itself. And I can't say that for sure because the window's boarded up on both sides. Okay, there is a gas pipe here. It doesn't have a cap on it. Doesn't need to be removed before the gas is turned on. It just needs to be capped off. But you could put a room heater in here if you wanted to. This is the hallway, and you can see this is the third point of water damage that I'm going to come back to. This is the beginning of the second point of water damage, and it's in this second bedroom. You can see up here that from this side of the hip towards the window, which is that way, there's not any evidence of water damage on the rafters or the decking itself. I'm going to show you up in here as well. There's a couple of places where you see a little bit around nails, so there was probably nail pops through the roof, and that's where water got in, but it's not severe. It doesn't look like it's compromised the structure at all. The real water damage is coming in. You can see on the floor here and back into, I'm gonna get out of the way here, on the floor and back into the closet is where there's a lot of water damage, and that's coming from this spot right up here. And this one's not quite as severe as the one in the other room, but it isn't good. Like this beam here has some evidence of staining, and even right there you can see some spots where it might have compromised the structure. I'm not a roofer or an engineer. One of the things that may be a solution for this would be to put a stitch from good nailed into good wood here and good wood up there, and just shore up that structure problem, potential problem. I would definitely consult a roofer on that, or a structural engineer, or both. Then here is the damage to the wall. You can see up and down here. And then there's even some on this side here that might not be due to water. It might have just been somebody put their foot through it on a bad day. So that's the second bedroom. And then the third place of water damage, this is the back door. And you can see up in the ceiling here that, yes, we see some more evidence of that water damage, that probably the same leak that caused it on the other side. And then it's gotten onto the floor here and seeped pretty far along this way. So a little farther than I would have expected from that kind of thing, which tells me that there might be some slanting along the way here. This house has a crawl space. Houses this age generally have some kind of slanting somewhere, and this is really the first evidence of it that I've seen. It's a solid, you haven't heard me creaking as I've been walking through the whole place, which is what you usually get if there's a lot of foundation shifting. So, especially with all this water damage, you'd think that it would cause something like that. This is the bathroom, which goes back out to the front of the house. So there's a door on that side and a door on this side. And so the tub is here, shower was up there, and then so this plumbing has been removed one way or the other. Looks like somebody started to do a repair with some PEX pipe, but it looks like it's been, I mean, it's not the new PEX pipe, so it's been a while, and it's actually been cut off up there. This was a linen closet. The tub could probably be cleaned up and still used, but with the condition that the rest of the bathroom is in, it might be just as easy to remove it. And one thing that concerns me a little bit is this floor here is wafer board, which is roof decking, and not even great roof decking at that, and not really good for subfloor. You can see over here where the plumbing came through that there's a little bit of a, you know, it's easy for that stuff to be compromised. And this is the only floor in the house that just really doesn't feel like it's up to snuff. This is where the sink cabinet was, because you got your mirror here, and then you've got your commode over here. So now I'm going to go walk outside and just show you around the outside of the property. And we can see some more evidence that the foundation's in pretty good shape. Here you see the footer is made out of concrete blocks. And so there's gaps in the concrete blocks right there. Everywhere you see a concrete block. They did have it covered over in either stucco or cement. Probably cement is what it looks like to me. There's our friend the dog. And it's cracking off in places like this over time since it was a thin veneer. There's one on the other side I'll show you that makes that obvious. I would cut that tree out and that tree out if it were me. And then there's one of your vents. One of those is a vent and one crawl space access. I don't know for sure since they've been blocked up. I will take a minute. Wait, here's the side door. And then that we saw from the inside. I want to take a minute to show this is where a garage used to be. And it's got a pretty solid foundation and footer. Hey buddy, we're not talking to you today. There's a pretty good solid foundation and footer. If you wanted to build a garage, you could. And it's possible to even make it one where there's a garage with a studio apartment above it, so you could get 2 renters out of this place if you were looking to rent it. And then here's where the gas meter used to be. The gas company takes those out if it's been 6 months or more without gas. So I can't really get a great shot of the roof. There's probably your best angle since I'm a short man, and I'll hold this up as high as I can to kind of get some more view of it. I would assume that the roof needs to be replaced. And then you can see around here the fencing is in pretty good shape for the age of the neighborhood. There's a place there where trees grow up, obviously, around here, and that tree has become part of the fence in 2 different ways. structure. This fence is missing the bar across the top, but it's secure enough that dog has never been able to get into this yard as many times as I've been here. There is a section of fence missing here, and that house back there appears to be abandoned. And then there's a little gap between these two posts here that looks like it was a small gap that got larger over time. And this part of it swoops from what appears to be kids climbing over it, or maybe not kids. And then you can see there's a lot of vegetation along here that probably needs to be removed, a lot of voluntary trees that have come up. There's a ton of shade in this backyard, which is nice. The disadvantage is in Oklahoma, we don't have grass for that grows naturally. So a lot of people in shady areas will put fescue. It's a pain in the rear end to mow because it grows so fast. But you can see along here, the foundation, the cracking that you're seeing is the cover of the, I mean, from best we can tell, is not in the blocks behind it, but in the concrete covering that was put over those blocks. And then over on this side, it's a little more obvious. So we do have evidence of things like this, where it looks like people have been hanging around here that shouldn't be. And then there's a vent right there. There's another opening that may have been a vent or an access. But this is what I was talking about, where you can see most that it was concrete that was put over the top of it, that just over time, it wasn't very thick, so over time it's cracked off. There's, in that spot right there also shows us that there's wood behind this vinyl siding, which needs a real good cleaning, possibly some pieces replaced. I think you could get away without doing the whole thing, but if you're doing a complete remodel for flip, you probably ought to do that, which is one of the reasons why this is a better candidate for a rental than a flip. This right here is the electrical external box, and I forgot to show you the electrical panel inside. I'll go back and do that. That will be restored once electricity is turned on by the electric company. And then there's a little spot down here where a bunch of little voluntary branches have grown up through there and poked a hole in the siding's corner there. So let me take you in real fast to the inside and show you that electrical panel that I forgot to show when we were in here. And it's original to the house. I don't know whether it's functional or not. But yeah, it's a Zinsco, whatever that is. Not familiar with that. I'm not an electrician, but there you go. That's the panel. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call at 405-637-7960. And I, by the way, I'm walking past this. This is the back of whatever notices were shown on the front here. So I don't know what those notices are, to be honest with you. But yeah, my phone number is 405-637-7960, and my email is jim@homes4ok.com. That's the word homes plural, the number 4, and then the letters OK for Oklahoma. homes4ok.com. Thanks for watching.